I've done some videos lately on some commercial products that I thought would make good additions to homemade MREs. Kind of stuff that you can find in your local grocery stores or convenience stores or big box stores, whatever. And basically just the sort of thing that would fit the bill for what you would find in an MRE, but in a civilian version. I'm not one to skip the bargain aisles, the clearance aisles, the Dale bread rack, and stuff like that, looking for bargains. And that's where this latest one came from. And this one is a Campbell's slow kettle style soup. This one is an Andouille sausage jambalaya soup. And it comes in this interesting plastic container. We have this 15.5 ounces in here. So obviously Campbell soup and most other soups, you're used to finding them in these tin cans. And these are actually perfectly fine for MREs too, for homemade MREs, because they are ready to eat. You might want something a little bit smaller. This is 18.8 ounces. But these would work perfectly fine. The thing I like is finding stuff that reminds me more of stuff that's in an MRE, something that is in something like a retort pouch, like the recent ready meals I tried. Those were basically in retort pouches, just ones that wouldn't last as long as a real one. And this one being in the plastic, it's giving you the same thing that you would get in a can of soup, but for some reason this just makes it a little bit more interesting. And also, interestingly enough, I don't know if they're phasing these out or if the store's just not carrying them, because this was in a clearance aisle. I forgot exactly how much it cost, but it was a pretty good deal. And I just think it's kind of funny because everything these days is really geared towards heating up in a microwave. I just recently bought a box of yellow Mexican rice that I was going to have with some tacos, and it actually didn't give stovetop directions. It only gave directions from the microwave. It was basically like a minute rice kind of a thing. And I mentioned before that we actually don't have a microwave, which I know seems really strange. So that does make it kind of tough to heat up things that are meant to be microwave. But the thing that's funny about this is, even though this is in a little plastic tub instead of a can, you would think that that would mean that this is meant to be microwavable. You know, you buy this, throw it in a microwave, and heat it up. But it's actually, it says for best results, use stovetop instructions, which is pretty standard. You dump it into a pan and heat it up on the stove. It basically just says heat gently over medium heat in saucepan, stirring occasionally. For microwave, it says microwave ovens vary. Remove and discard plastic cap and metal lid. Cover with microwavable plastic wrap. And then microwave on high 1.5 to 2 minutes. So under this plastic lid here, you'd normally think that there'd be something you could take off here and then use this as the lid from the microwave. But you're not supposed to use this in the microwave, and it has metal, so you're not supposed to use that. So the convenience of most of these kind of things is that they're basically meant to be put in a microwave. This one, you buy it, you take the cover off, get rid of that, you take this off, get rid of it, and you have to put on a plastic wrap that's microwave safe. So this isn't very convenient. But the idea that I thought of was that this would be a good entree for homemade MRE. If you're throwing together your own MRE, you're obviously planning on using it outside and not going to have the use of a microwave anyway. So this kind of thing you could certainly heat it up in any pan that you're going to cook over a fire. You could put this in hot water, I think. I don't think there'd be any problem with that. And you probably couldn't put it in a regular flameless ration heater just because of the size. But as I did with the ready meals, I have one of these meal spec heaters, which are quite a bit larger than a standard flameless ration heater, and also they're kind of fun to use. So as long as this fits in here, I'm going to try to heat this up in one of these, just for the field kind of test, as opposed to just heating it up in hot water, which is pretty obvious what's going to happen with that. The one thing that it doesn't say is that like I said, it has this convenient looking bowl or packaging, but you're not really supposed to heat it up in this. For heating it on stovetop, you're supposed to use a pan, and for doing it in the microwave, you can leave it in this, but you have to take the stuff off. So the one thing I'm curious about is how it's going to go when I heat it up in here while it's still sealed, because I'm not going to break the seal on it or anything. I'm not expecting it to be a problem, but we'll find out. And one other thing to mention too is I don't know what the shelf life is on these. With a can, you're getting quite a few years, which is one of the benefits of getting a can. Actually, this one is good till September 2nd, 2017, which isn't really all that bad. I don't know how long it was out on the shelf. This is also a clearance item. Both of these were, because I'm a cheapskate. This one's October 25th, 2017, so I'm sure these had a few years on them. But this one is only good until August 13th, 2016, which is about a month from when I'm filming this. So I don't know if it had been sitting around for a while, and they're getting rid of it towards the end of its life. But obviously, shelf life is an important thing with genuine MREs. Not so much with homemade ones, because you can do it however you need it. If you need something that's going to last 2 years, you'll buy stuff that'll last for 2 years. If you need something to bring on a hike or a camping trip this weekend, you can put in whatever you want that's going to last a few days, no problem. But I think we've had enough talking about this, and now why don't we go ahead and heat this up and do a little mini review and see how this possible homemade MRE entree tastes. These meal spec heaters are pretty powerful. This one is now a couple of years old, but the last one I used was still working good. It's just a matter of if this is going to fit in here or not. I'm thinking somehow we have to get this to work. And there it goes. No problem. It's pretty close. It's almost like it was made for this. It's pretty perfect. So this one, it has a fill line, but obviously I can't really see how much I'm putting in there. But it does say to add 3 to 4 ounces of water, 100 mils. So let's go ahead and add that to the top here. Make sure that gets down to the heating element. Seal this up, and you want to watch out for these 2 little holes right here, because when this thing activates, there's going to be steam coming out of there. And there it goes. And there's the steam. Oops. So that's working. And get some heat from the bottom up. And I'm going to just go ahead and rest that on a rock or something. Give that about 15 minutes. And we'll come back and see how that does. Alright, things well, other than that noise there, things have gotten kind of quiet with this. It seems like it used up most of the water. But basically I think this has had about enough time to heat up. There's still some heat in there, and I know on those ready meals that I did a while back, they weren't really hot all the way through, which is an understandable thing when you're dealing with something that's kind of thick. And obviously this is basically like heating up a can. So the stuff in the middle, and because the heating element is on the bottom, the stuff on the top isn't likely to be as hot. It's also not easy to get out of here. But I'll eventually get it out. And during the heating I did try to shake this up a little bit to get it, as evenly dispersed the heat as I could. I don't know if that was effective or not, but just wipe this down. Alright, and that container feels quite warm. It's gonna, I guess this has enough room in there you can give it a little bit of a shake. Hopefully that'll be hot all the way through. So, like I said, with the cans, these are perfectly fine for homemade MRE, if that's what you want. Heating options, first off, they're ready to eat. That's the most important thing. So you can just pop these tops and eat right out of the can as they are. If you want them heated, or if you can heat them, same with both of these, you could throw these into some hot water. You could take the contents out and heat them up in a pan over a fire, or over a camp stove, something like that. And if you happen to have something like this, you can always do that. Just leave it in the sun. But the important thing, like I said, is that it is ready to eat, so it can obviously just be eaten right out of the container. I was going to say the can, but let me just make sure that this isn't going to spray because of all that heat. Nope, looks like it's okay. So now we'll try out our slow kettle style Andouille sausage jambalaya soup. And I may have mispronounced Andouille before. I'm sorry. I will not respond to any people making fun of me for the mispronunciation. I'm not really an expert on food. I just eat it. But what do we have here? This looks like a pretty spicy kind of a dish. And there's our soup. You can see the sausage right in there. And some rice down there. There's a lot of stuff in here. This is pretty good. I remember a few years ago they started putting soups into those like cardboard cartons and you know, plastic things. And like I said before, the idea seems mostly to be to make them microwavable. Well, a lot of times it seems to be mostly just kind of a gimmick. So this thing right here, it's filled pretty close to the top. But this is obviously also another convenience for the homemade MRE thing, because you can certainly eat it right out of this. It makes a perfectly fine bowl for this stuff. But for the sake of doing a review, I'm just going to throw it into this bowl so it looks a little bit of a nicer presentation, I think. Yeah, let's go ahead and try this out. It's a very liquidy soup. It's definitely a soupy soup. Looks like a big piece of tomato in here. I don't know if these oh, there's some celery, some green peppers, good amount of rice. Yeah, there's a big chunk of tomato right there. And I think the big star, of course, is going to be the sausage. Let's try this out. Looks pretty good. Some onion there too. I have to say that's pretty good. It's got some heat to it in more ways than one. It's heated, very much heated through from the ration heater. That was good, and it does have some spice to it. The andouille sausage, I think, is providing a lot of that. I never actually mentioned, but here are the ingredients. Sort of hard to show them all, and here's the nutrition facts on this. So this container has 2 servings, so we have to multiply everything by 2 here. But yeah, as I had said, I generally think of the plastic and cardboard boxes and containers that they put the soups in as sort of a gimmick, but this really does live up to the fact that it's sort of making itself look like it's kind of a premium thing. This is very, very good for a canned soup. A lot of flavor. And pretty good kick for a commercial kind of a thing. And overall, I think I'd say that these Campbell's slow kettle style soups, I don't know how many varieties they have, but if you can find them, I think they'd make very good entrees for homemade MREs. To be honest, I think it's a pretty good soup in general. Thank you for watching.